Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do something a little different again. We are going to take a look at the original art scans for Tom Reilly's G.I. Joe #1 art. Now, I've not been secretive about my desire to get some Tom Reilly G.I. Joe #1 art. I've talked about that numerous times in different videos throughout the year. I am a huge fan of Tom Reilly's work. I love Tom's clean lines. There's not a wasted line on the page. I love his ability to take a script and deliver whatever is needed for that story. It could be a dynamic action sequence. His panel layouts, his page layouts, they flow brilliantly. The pacing of that page, they're wonderful. But also he has the ability to take a quiet moment and deliver just as visually interesting of a panel layout as if it were an action sequence. So comics are a visual medium, so you need to be interested in what you're reading, even if what you're reading is a dialogue heavy, emotional, impactful moment. Tom knows how to deliver each of those types of moments brilliantly, so that way what you get when you're done is a intelligently crafted comic book. Now, so I was in contact with Josh, his rep from Modern Mythology Comic Art, and I said, hey, this is definitely something I'm interested. He's like, yeah, I got you, bud. I know. But then there was an opportunity that came up for Tom, and there was a full pay or a full issue offer for the cover and all of the interiors for the book, and as a fan, I was like, oh man, not cool. But as someone who likes to see Tom succeed, I want his art to do well. I want him to sell his art, because that's just that's a great supplemental income for comic artists. So I would likely have been able to buy a page or two, depending on the key moments or whatever it is I was targeting. But from a selfish point, I really was looking forward to getting a page. But as for someone who wanted to see the Tom move as much of the art as possible, as quickly as possible, I was happy to see it sell complete. Now, it's one of those things where, it's the brain of the collector. I love so many of these pages in this comic that inevitably there would be pages that I would not have been able to get that I would have wanted to get. And so it helps mentally to know that it's complete and that it's in someone's collection, and we're probably not going to see those pages hit the market. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. It feels better knowing that than if it were to be that I missed out on certain pages because I just wasn't fast enough, or whatever the case may be. So I do like that. It's kind of cool that the cover, front back wraparound cover, that is complete with the all of the interior. So that's pretty cool. So congrats to the collector out there who was able to pony up and buy the whole issue. But anyway, so I did have the scans of the art from Josh, and I said, hey, would you mind if I kind of share these, because I still think it's a cool opportunity to see the art. And when these issues sell complete, you don't always see the opportunity isn't always there for the scans to be shared. Now Felix does it. When Felix sells a complete issue, he'll always post the pages on his site, so they're there to be shown and shared. And it's still kind of fun to see the original art, because look, even though these are pages that I would want, I still think it's cool to see the art. And that's what I wanted to do today, is just kind of go through the scans and talk about them. I'll try not to make it too long-winded, but I just thought it'd be a fun opportunity to do this. So we're just gonna jump right in, and then I'm sure as I go, I'll talk more about Tom Reilly and his art style and what I like about his art. I've been actually a fan of his art since a couple of years ago. I want to say like maybe 2019, because it's 5 years ago now. Wow. I had seen commissions shared on Facebook through his the art collector groups. and I immediately jumped on to get a commission from him, and then from there I just have been following his career, and I loved seeing him announced as the artist for Duke, and then now the main the main series, the main GI Joe series. So yeah, I am loving the fact that Tom is on a property that so directly speaks to me on a nostalgic level, and you know I've talked about it before. All the Energon titles, how much I am enjoying all of the titles now. So yeah, very very cool to see. So all right, now let's jump into it. So page one is a page that shows. It essentially is a callback to the first page of the Duke miniseries, and in the Duke miniseries, you see panels, this same kind of I think it was a 4-panel layout, but it was a horizontal layout that you see the history of Duke. You kind of get caught up at the speed of who this character is, and here in the GI Joe page, you see events of the Duke miniseries that get you kind of caught up from Duke. So. You know, one big question comes up is like, is Duke required reading for GI Joe? And the answer is no. However, you're really missing a lot of what makes Duke an interesting character if you don't read the Duke miniseries, because GI Joe is clearly about the newly formed team, and it's Duke struggling with his new leadership role within the team, and you really the Duke miniseries, you know, breaks down the character and then builds him back up. He has become the most interesting Duke has ever been in the history of Duke. Duke was never a character with all of the all the colorful kind of characters in the cartoon. Duke was like the poster boy, the soldier poster boy, and was kind of like he was a boring character to me. I never really liked him as a character. I always kind of gravitated in that kind of leadership role. I enjoyed Flint more than Duke, but here now I actually care about Duke, and that's a testament to what Joshua Williamson has done on writing duties. And yeah, Duke, very interesting character. So I love this version of Duke. So you get the lovely panels of you see the Starscream encounter, which is pivotal to the whole Energon universe. It's the event that kind of kicked off the GI Joe side of things from Transformers 2. You see the the issue was at issue 2 where they're like Clutch and Duke are fleeing, and then you see the battle with the Bat, which is Duke's struggle and his conflict with. He wanted to go after Starscream, but he settled for attacking a Bat and defeating it, and feeling like that was like his big release for the miniseries. And then you see his agreement with Hawk to lead the GI Joe initiative, and then that kind of catches you up to speed to where Duke is at now, and then you jump into a really fun double-page spread of Duke and the team as it exists now of Baroness, Stalker, Clutch, Rock and Roll, and CoverGirl, along with Duke. And I guess I should mention here before we go any further that I am gonna talk about the events of the issue, so it's gonna be full spoilers. We've got GI Joe number 2 coming out this week, so I just thought now would be a good time to look back at issue 1. So if you don't want to know anything else that goes on in issue 1 and you're gonna read it, then don't watch this video. All right, so. Yeah, so just a good establishing shot of where the team is at, where Duke is established as the leader. You get caught up of who the roster is. So again, this team comes together in the Duke miniseries, but do you really need to have read that? No, you get the idea. GI Joe is a team book, and it's just saying, hey, this is the team. So I like that this is a kind of a minimalist. Spread where it's the characters. You highlight each of the characters, and that's what you're supposed to get out of this spread. It's not necessarily about the detailed backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, and we'll talk about that too, because Tom has a tendency of he does a lot of minimalist pages, and then he also there are times where it's just full out crazy action on the page. So I like that he alternates between those two styles, and it's kind of a lot of it's story driven. If there's it's what you're meant to focus on each page, and here you're supposed to focus on the characters themselves. So you get get the characters there jumping right into action, and it's also saying like, look, here we go, we're just jumping right into this adventure. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then what it also does is, the double page spread gets you caught up with who's on the team, and then it highlights each of the characters. So again, it's reestablishing who these characters are. So if you have not read Duke, you're up to speed. So this is the team. Gives you the background of each of the characters, and you get Rock and Roll and Stalker on this page. And then the next page, you have Cover Girl and Clutch. And then the newest member of the G.I. Joe side of things is the Baroness. So, again, a fun change into how to approach this story. And, having Baroness established as a G.I. Joe member, that's fun because the whole time you're going to be thinking, okay, when is she going to turn? When is she going to betray the team? What's going to happen? So, and will that come? Who knows? I have a feeling that it will, but it plays against expectations, and to have her involved on the team is a fun element because it's GI Joe, action, espionage. So like you spies, like you could see that potentially being an issue down the line. And that's just one more thing that's going to test Duke's ability to lead the team when you think that there's someone working potentially against him from the beginning. So yeah, I enjoy that element of the story. And talks more about Baroness and her how she came to be on the team. You get this page of where they met, and again they met in the the pages of the Duke miniseries. So again, the first couple pages of this book really kind of do get you up to speed. But I would imagine for me, if I read this stuff, I would then go, okay, well, I want to know more about that, so I would read Duke, and I personally highly recommend Duke. So anyway, but again, not necessarily in the context of the G.I. Joe team book necessarily. And that's actually what you get here. It's Baroness kind of complaining about the faulty equipment that they're being forced to use. And again, it sets up this wonderful idea that Duke is motivated by the threat of like Mars Industry, and up against this really highly advanced technology, and then they're dealing with this kind of like old crappy military equipment, and so he's frustrated with that. Baroness is frustrated with that, and I love that GI Joe is starting off clearly disadvantaged. They're disadvantaged in functioning as a team. They're disadvantaged in the equipment that they're using, and the idea that Transformers are out there, the Autobots, the Decepticons are out there. That they're going to be a threat, and the fact that Mars is out there, we know that Cobra is forming. We know that they're out there. They're going to be a threat, and the GI Joe is up against the wall here. And I love that. That's a great starting point to see this team come together and see where it's going to go from there. You don't want it starting from a standpoint of a fully formed, functional the GI Joe that we know from the cartoon, where it's just like a huge cast of characters, and that's not what you want to see. Interesting. If you want to have an interesting story, that's not what you want to see from the get go in this series. So here's more of the resolution of that scene with the faulty backpack that Baroness is clearly pissed off, and then it talks. I love that it dives right into the idea of the leadership, and it's Duke complaining to Hawk like, what are we doing here? Like, how am I supposed to get this team together? And given what we're up against, and then you turn the page and you see what they're up against. It's Destro kind of overlooking the troops, surveying the army of Cobra troopers, as well as you see the tech that they have in his tanks and the bats, and yeah. So one thing to talk about on this page is what you see is, Tom is a modern artist, and when you're operating under the very real deadlines that these artists are operating under, they lean into using traditional and digital tools. So some artists have leaned into going all digital tools, and that's, as art collectors, we lose when that happens. But that's why in some cases where if there are elements on a page that were created digitally, while I personally, yeah, I would love to see everything that is on the published page be on the original art. However, it's not, not necessarily realistic in some cases, and I would much rather have a physical page than no physical page. So this gives us something to appreciate, to tactilely appreciate, and not just have it be an all digital comic. So I think we benefit from having the traditional elements as much as we can. So it's a trade-off that I'm sure many people debate it, and I'm sure many people would be turned off from this page because of it. But that's just that's a reality of the where we are in comic production. So here we get caught up with Destro and him going in to talk with Cobra Commander, and I love this establishing shot of this establishing page of introducing Cobra Commander to the series, and you see the elements of Cobra Law. You see, and one thing I really love about this page, and Tom does it a lot. There was actually I didn't mention it on the first page of the comic, but Tom likes to draw reflections of things. I think he tries to use as much of the page to tell a story as he possibly can. And here you see it. You see element. You see his face. You see Cobra Commander's face in shadows, and that large upper panel, and then you see his face in shadows again on the helmet, the hand reaching out. It just adds the mystery to the character, and I love that he was able to just a little bit more visual storytelling is in there, because it's a reflective surface. So I like that he adds that extra detail of clearly showing the reflections. So I enjoy that. And then this page, I love this one, and it features Mercer. I freaking love Mercer, and that goes back to the years of when I was a kid. I had the Mercer action figure. Really loved. Was it the Slaughters? I always get them confused with Slaughters Marauders and Slaughters the Renegades. I think he was part of the Renegades 3-pack. But yeah, love Mercer. I love that in the backstory of Mercer, he was an ex Cobra officer. And in this series, I love that we see him as a Cobra officer, and he kind of, his story element wise, he serves the same purpose as Baroness. So there are a character on each team that we traditionally know as a member of the other team. So I enjoy having Mercer be there with Destro, and it's like, well, okay, when is Mercer going to turn? Is he going to eventually defect and go to the Joes? Who knows? But I love that we have that same element that we have for Baroness on Joe. We have it here on Cobra. And the important thing story wise about this scene, which it highlights that very interesting dynamic of Destro and Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander is, he's in control, but Destro is there trying to assert his own, not necessarily authority, but he doesn't want to be pushed around by Cobra Commander. Like he's kind of, he understands that Cobra Commander is calling the shots, but that doesn't mean he likes the Cobra Commander is calling the shots, and he refuses to be belittled by Cobra Commander. So there's always that back and forth between those two characters that we know, and I love that dynamic. So I love to see it represented and reminding us of that dynamic here in this scene. But Destro as the arms dealer, as the one who produces the weapons. I love that we see this introduction of the energy weapon that is used through by using Energon. And I really enjoy the fact that G.I. Joe is always, their weapons have always been lasers, and here we see in this comic, yeah, they're energy weapons because they're used with Energon. So, just a fun way to incorporate GI Joe and Transformers together. Just one more kind of story thread that connects the two properties. So I like that element of it. Um, Here I will say I given that Tom works traditionally and digitally on this page, I love this page. I love that shot of Cobra Commander. In some ways, I wish, filling blacks. I wish you would like fill the black up top there. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary, and it's Cobra Commander is still framed nicely. But when you're talking about comic art, there's sometimes those little things like. They're huge. They're like the time savers in the moment for the artist that I understand. But then it's like, oh man, if I could just see a little bit more there, you'd like to see that. But again, where we are in comic production, it makes sense. Like I'm not faulting him because the story beats are here. The things you need to see are here. I love that. I love the panel of that mannequin being ripped to shreds with the Energon. I love how it's clearly like the head is like melting. Yeah, that's great stuff. And again, you see the use of reflection in Cobra Commander's visor or his helmet. So yeah, I love it. I love this page. So I don't mean to, even though it's not filled in the black there, that's a small gripe when you're looking at a page as beautiful as this. Love the way the gun kind of cuts through the panels. Tom is a wonderful visual storytelling gift, and it's on full display here. So if we get the dynamic kind of cool layouts like we get here, I can certainly forgive not filling in some black. So that's a small gripe. Then cuts to another scene that this is cool. This is I like that Tom had the opportunity to design and introduce his own Joe character. Joshua Williamson created this new character of Risk, and I like that Tom was able to design his own character. Like, how cool is that? Design a character for a property like GI Joe. That's cool for any artist, and I'm glad that Tom has the opportunity to do that here. But we get the cool nightclub scene, and what I like about this page, it helps sell the idea. Once the colors, Jordi Belair laid the colors on here. It's a really cool effect designed to show that the one to show that it's a very different. Like something different. It's a new character. The coloring is on these couple pages are vastly different from the coloring that you see in the rest of the issue. So you don't necessarily get those elements on the original page. But now that I've read the comic and I see these pages, I see the colors. I see the colors already. So that's pretty fun. So you're in this nightclub, and then you get introduced to this wonderful introduction of like he was described as like a John Wick kind of martial artist, a mixed martial artist character in Risk, and I love that shot of the rippling of the cheek after getting punched in the face. I love the speed lines of Risk's on his arm there with the throwing the punch. Yeah. Like you can kind of see it in my mind. I kind of think of like a Guy Ritchie frame where it's like or was it Fight Club, or was it I forget? But me, I kind of think of like Snatch, and it's like the scenes where like Brad Pitt's fighting, and then there's like that pause, like you get that like kind of like snapshot of a punch right to the face. So really enjoy that. And it shows who Risk is, right off the bat. Not afraid to just walk right up to the guy with a gun and punch him in the face. Like, what? That's character building storytelling right there. And then there's this, the rest of the bodyguards are there, and he's like, yeah, bring it. Like, so you just know this guy is he's calculated. He knows the risk. Given his name, that's what his idea. That's the role he serves or is going to serve. I think on the team. It's like risk assessment, and yeah. So he knows the situation. He knows what he's up against. So he's not worried. And then in this next page is just showing you why he's not worried, because he's equipped with some great hand to hand combat skills. So love this 9-panel page of just action, like Tom telling a story, and just go panel by panel, and you see this choreographed fight. Like you see it all here, and that's brilliant, and that's what I love about Tom's ability to tell a story visually. This is a great page that showcases that ability. Love the fist imprints on the guy's face, like, and you hear the you just hear the punching of the face. Like, man, this is awesome. This is an awesome page. So this is one that I'm sure I would have liked to have gone after, but again, not sour grapes. I get it. It's all good. But yeah, this is one that I would have likely have targeted, because it's just showcases his skills to tell a story visually just wonderfully. And this guy goes back and smashes against the table. Yeah, and again, it's showing you something visually interesting. In smashing the table, his legs kind of going up in the air there, all the broken glass. And you get that framed shot of Risk. He's like, he's still, after all of that action, just kind of cool and collected. He just, I'm doing my thing. And yeah, so then he gets called back into back into headquarters to come back, and I'm sure we'll pick up his story, I think, in issue 2. And again, this another great example of what Tom is capable of doing. Now, this is a very quiet page. It's a quiet moment, a page of Duke and Hawk kind of talking about. Duke is saying, like, look, why can't they listen to me? Why can't they be more like me? Why can't they do what I tell them to do? Why can't they, act exactly like I would be? I want them to kind of fall in the line, because I want to lead this team. I want a team, that will do what I say. And it's Hawk kind of teaching Duke a lesson, like, look, you can't have a team full of you. Like, you need to have a team that brings unique mindsets and unique approaches to things, and you'll get there. You'll eventually get to the point where the team will gel. But it's just a great page. Like, I love Duke sitting on the Jeep there, and you get those emotions. He's deep in thought. He's frustrated, and then yeah, I love the establishing shot of them rebuilding the pit. So even on a quiet page like this, it's still visually interesting, and yeah, selling the emotion of the story. And again, good old Tom using the reflections. You get the crane reflections in the Jeep windshield. So it's that kind of attention to detail that I really enjoy about looking at Tom's work. So even though there's some the panels are minimalistic in, like, the sky details in the background, but you get those extra elements of the the windshield reflection. So that's cool. That's just it's attention to detail like that I really enjoy. And then in these moments too, it does, like, what the lesson that Hawk is conveying to Duke. You don't need background stuff, because it's about the things that are being said, and that's what you need to be focusing on in the comic book. So to me, it's an intelligent design that shows, there are times when you need to see the action, and the visuals need to tell the story, and there are times where that needs to take a backseat, and you need to focus on the dialogue. You need to focus on what is being said, and what you're supposed to take away from this page, and it's the lessons of Hawk. So I love panels like that. From an art standpoint, a collector standpoint, yeah, you want more on the page. You want more detail on the page. But Tom is creating a comic book. Like, he's not drawing a page of a comic art page for a comic art buyer. Like, that's not what he's doing. He's creating a comic book, and that's what the comic book, what the story deserves right here is a focus on the dialogue. And that's just smart. Like, that's not, that's not him kind of doing more than he has to do. And that's, I respect that. And then there's more action here. And again, this is the type of page where there are, again, there are elements that are, changed, not changed, just added digitally, like the bottom page. This is a callback to some events that from the end of the Duke miniseries, where Duke kind of learns about that there are more robots out there, and he wants to go after them. So it's a great team moment, team dynamic moment. You get some good character work. But yeah, this one, it's a page again that I love the character beat moments, and that's the kind of thing that I would that would draw me to this page. Now it's probably not one that I would necessarily buy. Here again, here's the mindset of the collector. If I were to buy this page, I would want the page from the end of Duke. Was it Duke number 5? Because on that panel is a shot of Optimus Prime that Tom drew for Duke number 5. So my mindset would be like, hey, if I had that page with Optimus Prime on there, I would get this page, because this is the page where that art is reused. So without that page, I would probably then pass on this page, if that makes sense. So just a peek inside the mind of when I approach things and what I buy. Yes, the art is missing on this page, but if I had it on the other page, it would be pretty cool. So anyway, that's just it's all moot. It doesn't matter because this art is not available. But those are the things I would think about if I was able to buy some of these pages. All right, and then the next double page spread, again, this is something that I would have gone after for sure, because it connects the events of G.I. Joe number 1 to the current events of Transformers, and this is what you see is the aftermath of the events of Transformers number 12, with the chunk of Cybertron in the ocean. And like, that's what they're the kind of the MacGuffin of the story is the Cobra side of things really wants that Cybertronian tech, and the G.I. Joe, they don't really know what it is, but they know they want to find out more about it. So they naturally want to get to that chunk in the ocean as well. So I love that. Again, it's something that connects the two properties, and you see. I love the visuals involved in this double page spread as well, because you see Duke telling his team why this is important, and you see Destro telling Cobra Commander why this is important. And there's nothing really that breaks the scene visually, because it's one singular panel with the image of the Cybertron, and you have both Destro and Duke pointing to the same monitor. But in your head, you kind of pick up the idea that, yeah, okay, these are two separate events that are happening, two separate conversations that are happening in two different places. So you don't necessarily need that visual cue to change the setting. You're the way that it's told visually, you understand that, and that's cool. That's a cool the ability to see that what is necessary and what is not necessary. Yeah, so. Definitely one I love, and again, more reflection stuff in Cobra Commander's helmet. So I don't want to, I don't want to harp on it too much, but like, I just like that he does that. I like that he sneaks in places to tell story, and if I remember correctly, on this page, like he's saying Cobra while during that panel. So you see that the Cobra emblem reflected in his mask, and like that's cool. That's just a cool shot. And then pick up the events of Baroness. They actually did get a part of the story is they did retrieve a chunk of the downed Cybertron. So they are essentially they're keeping an eye on it, because they know that it's a highly coveted piece of tech. And Baroness is kind of pissed off that they're just why are we babysitting this thing? Like, this is stupid. I don't agree with this. And yeah, there's some good character work between Stalker and Baroness, and again, it's the things that are being said here that you need to focus on. So that's why it's the kind of a clean headshot look of just Stalker and then Baroness. So thoroughly enjoy this page for the character beat moment. And then there's a page they get the the notification that Cobra is on the way, like, and they're about to jump into action. So love that bottom shot of Duke just like kicking into man of action mode. And yeah, that's a good character beat panel right there. So yeah, sorry, I paused for a second. I just was staring. I was like, yeah, that's really damn good. Yeah, so the next page, and then just all hell kind of breaks out, and the rest of the issue is just breakneck action, and that's what I love. So you had some kind of like actiony stuff in the beginning, you had some great character beat moments, and then the end of the issue is just like, holy crap, here we go. So you get Cobra attacking where G.I. Joe is guarding the chunk of Cybertron, and I love the shot of all the bullets ricocheting off the wall. That you get the lines, the speed lines of the bullets coming in there. You get Duke and Baroness and Stalker reacting. I love the pop 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 of the fire from the Fang. Yeah, and then all the troops coming in there. So yeah, damn cool. Visually, it's just the fact that I can see this story, I can see this scene, and it's all there. You kind of see the cuts in it's very cinematic, and a lot of times people say that they'll say like, oh, it's very cinematic, and to me what that means is that I see the scene playing out in my head. I can see the movement of the scene. I see the cuts back and forth in the action, and it's done here wonderfully. You get them kind of regrouping after they get shot at. You get the shot of the threat is coming up the stairs. They're on their way. They're all kind of panicking, like, okay, what do we do? Let's regroup. Let's get this done. And then Duke just jumps into action again, and it's just like, here we go. This is a great setup of him. This is one of the coolest moments in the issue is this page. Duke flies out like to jump at the Fang. Like, what the hell? And this is another page I would definitely have gone after, because this is just so damn good. It's visually interesting, and also from a character standpoint, I love that Cobra Commander and Destro are watching the events that are going on, and you can't help notice that Cobra Commander is like, this man is insane. Like there is a respect there that he, Destro is pissed that Duke is alive, but and he doesn't want to give up the fact that Destro is, he had the chance to kill Duke in the miniseries, but it's kind of his fault that Duke is still alive. He didn't finish the job. He doesn't want to give that information to Cobra Commander, but Cobra Commander is just kind of like in awe of this guy, and I think that's great. And then you get the great action on the bottom of the page, Baroness, kicking ass. So yeah, this is just a very strong page. I love in the sky again, like the sky elements are minimalist on that first panel and the art, but it's meant to, you're supposed to focus in on Duke. You're supposed to focus on the silhouette of Duke kind of flying out of there, and it's Duke versus the helicopter, the Fang, and like that's what that's what you're supposed to zero in on, and it does that. He does that wonderfully. So in this page where he just kind of yoinks the helicopter pilot out of there, hijacks the helicopter, and then you cut back to the inside with the action that's going on. You get Rock and Roll, CoverGirl, and Clutch, Stalker. And you get tink, 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 tink. You get that grenade that comes in there, and yeah, that explosion on that bottom left panel, man, that's just like, tell me you can't just hear and see this scene playing out just by looking at this page, and that to me is a hallmark strength of Tom Reilly, and that's why he is on this book for sure in my mind. So. So story wise, I don't think Stalker's dead. It very much looks like Stalker is dead, but I have a feeling that he's not quite down for the count for sure. But there's that explosion. The threat is real, and then you get that foot kind of stomping in there, like here comes Mercer, and I love that Mercer has that helmet visor. He's got the what are the Cobra Vipers? Is that what they are? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Cobra Vipers. So it kind of establishes Mercer as like the commander of the Vipers, and that's pretty cool. Um, just love the how it frames Mercer as a physically imposing threat. Guns blazing, and he's just kind of walking in there unarmed, just ready to kick some ass. So, yeah, another brilliant page. I love the action that it conveys. Um, yeah, just really great stuff. Yeah. Sorry, I had a lot to say about a lot of the pages, and then this one I look at, I'm just like, holy crap, this is a damn good page. And then you get rock and roll jumping into action. Clutch is kind of in a compromised position, and then you get rock and roll coming in here, knocking knocking Mercer in the back of the head. Again, the use of speed lines and you feel the full force of Mercer coming down with that punch on rock and roll, and like that, just you feel the weight. I mean, you feel the weight of it, and for an artist to be able to do that, that's what you want. You want to be able to feel the impact of things. You want to be able to feel the severity of the moment. And and this is such a yeah. I mean, the idea that you see that rock and roll is pretty much he's out. Like he's just got his ass kicked in like one single punch. And he's like, you know what? No, we gotta. I'm not down. And you see the resilience of rock and roll, and you see him jump towards those the troopers, kind of go after them. But yeah. And then you get this. So what a cliffhanger. Rock and roll gets killed. I mean, there's not. There's for me, Stalker not dead. Rock and roll totally dead. That's just. I did not expect to see this on the final page of this issue, but you know that you get the callback of seeing the mannequin kind of get ripped to shreds and melted with all the Energon lasers going through that thing, and then you see the impact that it has on rock and roll. Yeah, and to have it done in this kind of silhouette look with the laser shots coming through him like that, so damn impactful. What an emotional way to end this issue. Yeah. So I when I read this, I was like, I didn't know. I was honestly emotionally impacted by it because what they did with the character development in Duke, you kind of got the idea that rock and roll was this, this badass character. And again, rock and roll was never like a character that I was like a favorite or anything like that, but I was definitely saddened to see what happened to him here, and again, it all is sold through the emotion of the previous page of him kind of like on his knee, clenching the fist again with the teeth knocked out, blood dripping. He's like not down for the count. I'm gonna battle to the last, and yeah, I just yeah. Really love this this cliffhanger of an ending. Love this issue. Yeah, and again, congrats to the person who bought this issue. But yeah, to be able to have all those pages for that person to have all those pages to leaf through and to see the story, it's the sign of a true talent. That for many of these pages, you do not need to see the dialogue to understand the story, and that's what you want to see from an artist. Like for a writer to have art delivered back that where their words are almost not necessary on many of the pages. That's beautiful. But then to have the dialogue fill in the story even better, it's just a wonderful pairing. So the story written by Joshua Williamson clearly is a guy who loves this property, loves these characters, and to have him on the book is I think we as fans are very lucky to have that. So very much looking forward to issue 2 of GI Joe. That comes out this week, today. I think I'll post this video on the day of the release. But I wanted to give the idea, the feeling of what Tom's art looks like. So even though it's not art that I will be able to have in my collection, I still appreciate the hell out of it. And again, congrats to the person who was able to secure those pages. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the chat and to kind of see each of the pages. I could talk more about techniques and whatnot, but I'm very much a this looks cool. I like this. That's how I kind of react to seeing some things. So I'm not always the most like, oh, this angle is. I know what I like visually, and I know what appeals to me. And yeah, so hopefully that came across through the issue. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this, and I will see you soon.